We do an event in Brighton called Green Pride. First year, we just had a barbecue. We wanted people to come along, protest the cannabis laws, but celebrate it at the same time. It's all about pride and unity, Green Pride. Do you want to just say like what happened over sort of like this year when we went there?
This year's Green Pride really exploded, really. We had figures of 3,500 people turned up, 26 separate vendors selling anything from, I don't know, edibles through to food, T-shirts. Dank of England came, obviously always brings a crowd with him when he comes. So next year, I think this is the time now we are going to actually approach the council and try and get a proper licence and do this properly. We will do it again whether we get a licence or not. So we're telling the council and the authorities what we're going to do. We're not asking. That's the thing that we're doing. So whether they give us a licence or not, it will happen. And we'll have 4,500, 5,500, 6,500 people there. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ags. And it's a lot of hard work that goes into that thing. It's not just like put an event online, hope people come there. You have to contact these businesses and say, look, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, this is the community we're trying to build.
I think now as well, going forward with a proper licence, we can start asking for sponsorship and really move this forward. I don't know if any of you have been to a Liberation Day in Amsterdam that's been going on for, I think, I'm not sure, 7 years now. And that this year was probably the biggest one that I saw there. And that's where we want to go with Brighton Cannabis Club and Green Pride. So, free to weed.
All right, Simper Carter, can you come and say some words? Thank you very much, Ags. It's great. Check out Brighton Cannabis Club on Instagram. Become one of our 40,000 members.
Right, I'll just basically tell you, I actually started Durham City Cannabis Club at Product Earth last year after meeting this guy, among many other people. Felt galvanised by the community to actually start a movement up in the north that has been, obviously, as yourselves know, happening up and down the country. We've gone from strength to strength, really. Just a few weeks ago, held our 5th event, 5 monthly ones in a row. Average of attendance started at about 150 at 420 to about 400, 450 at our last event. We're basically being almost ignored sort of by the council. We're in this weird catch-22. I don't mention them, they don't mention me. But I clean up and they come and collect the rubbish. So it's a weird situation. Same with the police, same with the, up until a few weeks ago, our MP. I've recently had a meeting with her. She's on board with trying to actually get us a community action group to take on the premises we've been using, which is a derelict bowling green that's been abandoned for 2 decades in the centre of Durham. We want to take it over and call it Hemp Gardens. As you all know, Durham allows for the personal cultivation of cannabis. A recent problem that you're seeing is that these pots that people are using, they're having to dump soil. This is a cost to the council. I want to save the council money by having an amnesty. Bringing this soil, we plant it in, we have veg rows, and we run it like a community. We then donate it to the local food banks. We then can use the area and raise the funds from the events to pay into the local resources. For example, there's a park 100 yards away that's been closed. Our MP is on board with us giving a cheque for a few grand and replacing it with a nice plaque that says cannabis built this park to help tackle the stigma. We've got a series of winter events coming. We're looking to do a Halloween party on private land. Luckily, the owner of the land is actually donating it for free, so we can ticket people and then donate the money to various causes, obviously to help ourselves in the community. We're looking at doing talks. We've got various professors, doctors and quite a few other people on board. We're just looking to secure venues. We've raised quite a few funds over our 5 previous events. This has allowed us the means to look at renting several venues going forward. And the future is very bright for Durham because, I don't know if you actually do know about the deprioritisation of cannabis in Durham. From 2015, our Police and Crime Commissioner, Ron Hogg, made it an official policy that the personal use and cultivation of cannabis should be deprioritised by his officers. Durham's Chief Constable, Mike Barnes, actually made a statement in, I believe it was 2013, don't quote me on this, but he said that any one of his officers that brought to him a case that wasn't a commercial grow would be reprimanded. And subsequently, since that, you now have this attitude of Durham, if you're walking down the street smoking a spliff, the officer will tell you to go away. It's more of a nuisance to them because they don't want to file the paperwork and they can't. This is how the events managed to continue without any issue, really. We've asked, the same as Brighton are doing, to work with our council. We want to have official licenses because we want the vendors and everybody to feel safe and secure there, because we're not criminals. Our very actions are proving that we're not, and the consumption of cannabis en masse is not an antisocial behaviour. In fact, we clean up the local area. We provide money for the local economy. You look at the hotels, we have people travelling to our events from Scotland, from Birmingham, from London. We had a guy over from bloody Spain from our last event. You know what I mean? We have various speakers. We had, well, our most successful event, I'd say, was June Bloom. We had Callie and Simon Blackwell. We had a very late Greg turned up, so he didn't speak, but was there in spirit. We had Jeff Ditchfield. Myself, a representative from Feed the Birds as well, somebody from Teesside Club speaking. And we're really engaging with our community in a way that has not been possible. And now it's a case of we need to see what the next steps are. Ron Hogg, our Police and Crime Commissioner, actually held a drug symposium on July 13th, I believe, and had Neil Woods, who spoke earlier here today, and representatives from Teesside Club to discuss what the next step is. Because ultimately, we've seen that the deprioritization of cannabis has led to a drop in crime rate in Durham. Ron Hogg was re-elected on a bigger mandate after this policy. This is allowing for other liberalised ideas like safe injection rooms for heroin users, which are dropping inquisitive crime. You've got harm reduction policies around prostitution, which is basically making Durham the Amsterdam of England. Change is coming massively, and I think with the impending autumn general election, because May is not going to hold this shit together, you're going to see the Labour Party jump on cannabis because there is an opportunity for a vote winner. And I think it's up to everybody here that's attending this expo to do what they can in their communities to galvanise their MPs to back not just medical, but industrial and recreational cannabis. Because post-Brexit, we need money as a country. And cannabis, you literally grow it. Theresa May talks about a magic money tree. It's not. It's a magic cash crop, and it's cannabis. We can do it, and we can change the world with a seed. You know what I mean? Our entire history is built on it. We colonized the world for the worse, granted, but with hemp technology. We can repair the damages we've done around the world with hemp technology. Thank you. Greg?
Oh, guys, thanks for that one, guys. Okay, we're going to... Alistair Burrow was on his way down here from the Bristol Cannabis Club now. Over in the West Coast, they've been developing a private members club. We've got about 250 members now. And here the man is himself, Alistair Burrow!
Cool. Yeah, it's all right to grab the thing out of there.
What have you got in there?
The presentation.
Is that the key or?
It's on here.
How are you linking it to the board?
No,
Yeah,
just
alright, I do
read it
now.
off. Sorry.
How long have you been running the club now, over in Bristol?
Yeah, we've been running the club now for a couple of years. So we started in May 2014. Before that, we were an active Facebook page. May 2014 was when we had our first events. So we run monthly events now, central Bristol locations. Those events, people can come get information about cannabis, including products, how to grow cannabis safely, responsibly, and meet like-minded members. It's pretty slow. Sorry. Yeah. So the last thing that we did was people were asking out for more active kind of activities. So instead of just a sit-down session, we organised a bike ride. So some of our members joined us. We bike rided through the city to a nice picnic spot near the water where we all had nice sort of sesh together, and then cycled back again. It's just quite cool. Other activities as well that we've got planned in the future. We want to have like a boat ride for members and stuff where we cruise along and smoke for a bit and chill. We also have regular picnics as well. So the last one we held was up on the Downs. We've held them in places like Castle Park as well, attended by quite a few people.
Sorry, problem with the PowerPoint.
So yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties. Bristol Cannabis Club is a private members club. It's run by the local community, for the local community. We run a number of public events throughout the year to raise awareness and to put pressure on those in power and their enforcers to move towards a regulated system, much like those seen in places like Spain, USA and Canada. Alongside our public events, we also run workshops to assist those with medical need in making effective treatments with cannabis, such as oils, balms, tinctures, and share information on their usage. We had our first meeting on the 31st of May 2014, and that was in a pub called the Prince of Wales, which is an area called St Paul's in Bristol. The meeting was well attended, promoted by social media and word of mouth. Finding a suitable venue is the hardest task we found for any club. Prince of Wales was sadly only a short-term option. We later went on to find a more permanent option, a much bigger venue, another community venue. Sadly, we've since lost that venue, so we're using a number of smaller venues at the moment as an interim. In the early days, we raised money through raffles. We decided, as we didn't have a lot to offer in the earlier days, it was the easiest way to raise money. We approached local allied businesses for raffle donations and prizes, and slowly we raised enough money so that we could start hiring venues. Most of the revenue that we raise today comes from event admission, memberships, and merchandise sales. We like to educate the public as well. Leafleting the public, Race for Life, which was a charity event in Bristol for cancer awareness, and the St Paul's Carnival. Public screening of Project Storm as well in 2014. We donated the proceeds of that event. We also hosted the first National Cannabis Coalition meeting in March 2015. And we've hosted several cannabis education events since that date. Made multiple appearances in local media to keep people informed. Where are we now? We have the use of multiple unlicensed smoke-friendly indoor and outdoor venues, 220 vetted and paid up members, monthly events with stalls, food and music, and regular medical processing workshops. What's next for us? So we're looking at helping to kickstart our collectives and encourage that. We're looking to help other clubs nearby as well. So Bath as well has just started. We're looking to assist those guys to grow. Gloucestershire Cannabis Social Club as well. We're looking to kick off. We're looking for our permanent premises. We're hoping to join UKCSC's national membership, and currently we've got a campaign to put pressure on the local council and police to push for early local reform, so that the club can do more and help more. And that's it. Thank you.